Hi guys, Pete here, Rusty Rex again. Had a bit of a disaster. Tried to grind down the swing arm where the damage was, see if it was repairable. Turns out there's so much rust there that it's unreal. You can hear it. So that swing arm is unfortunately junk. The inner tube seems to have rotted on it, so I wouldn't trust that on my bike. Yeah, that just seems really, really bad. And no, that is too rotten. I can't use that, so I'm gonna have to find another one. Not on eBay at the moment. So it's, what is it, Monday? Yeah, Monday definitely. So that was going to be the project for today, or this week. So I figure front forks are probably a good bet. I can do the front forks. Yeah, got them. I'll paint the front yoke. Hang on. Lower front yoke. Just masked it off. Again, went over it 1M discs. These things. And took the paint off, repainted it, primed it, sprayed it matte black. That'll do. So, let's get on with that. Right guys, to do this job, there are several things. Right, I'm using taper roller bearings, which then come with these rather nice bearing cap or cups. These ones I fitted a few months ago. Haven't had any grease in them yet. Now you get one for the top that you just tap in, one for the bottom that goes up in here. Now depending on the bearing kit that you buy, depends on if you will need a spacer or not. Some of them come with spacers, some of them come with a rubber seal, some of them don't. So, as I say, I fitted these a couple of months ago. Haven't done a lot with them. One thing you will need is grease, lots of it. Now, what I like to do before I do anything is just get a little bit of grease and rub it around in here. I like to make sure that that whole cap has a coating of grease. Not you need to, but I always feel that it's best to. So let's just do the bottom one. The reason that I put grease in, it just something I've always done. You're going to grease the bearings anyway, and these bearings, I'll show you on the other one. And there's the top bearing, bit dirty, and just wipe the dirt off it. That's just where I had some muck on it. Right, a bit better. You must pack these with grease. So nice big bit of grease. You want to really pack that in there. It takes a lot of work to get the grease right the way in there. I don't care what anyone says, these do need to be packed with grease. I push it in the edges, I make sure that the top's covered. Really do work it in there. As much as I hate having grease on my hands, I really do like to make sure that they have as much of a chance as possible. Now you can use normal bearings, they're a lot simpler, a lot easier to work with. Right, there's the top bearing, as you can see, fully packed with grease. Now I'm going to put that in there, and I'm going to wipe some of the excess off. I really do hate working with this stuff, but it's a case of making sure that your bike has the best chance possible. So wipe your hands off on the rag. Yep, always have a rag handy. Like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy used to say, always carry a towel. Well, in this case it's a rag. In your workshop you've got to have rags. Right guys, I'm bearing greased up. When truly greased up, I also like to put some lubrication on the shaft, bit of grease, just to stop rust, because that can rust. And the other thing you need is the bearing retaining cap. So let's slide that up there. I want to move the camera further away really. Right, except bearings popped up, that's not unusual. Going back down. And that fits because it was in here in the first place. There we go. By the way guys, if you're working with grease and you want to clean your hands, hand sanitizer does a fantastic job. Alright, we'll just screw that on there. And I'll move the camera over the other side of the shed so you can see what we've done. Alright, this is a UK or European spec front yoke, lower yoke, triple tree, whatever you want to call it. They don't have the steering lock on the bottom yoke. Right. Now, as you can see, that yoke's in. There will be a bit of grease. Easy just to remove. Like that. Right. Now, then we have a spanner to fit that. Then we have one of these spanners. Now, at the moment, I'm not 100% sure how tight this needs to be. Now, it seems a bit tight. It's easing off, which is good. You have to wriggle it around a bit, because you've got to remember these bearings have just been put in there. So they're new. Now, you have to set them to where you think is right. Make sure there's no notchiness to it. You can see the way the steering works there. There's a piece that sticks out and stops you oversteering. Right, we're going to leave it at that for a minute. Right. Next thing we need are fork legs. So we have fork legs. They have been rebuilt with new seals. They are 400 forks. They've both got the caliper mount on them. So that's just, they have been rebuilt and everything. They're just a bit grubby looking from being handled. That looks a bit better. See? I did put them on a Scotch-Brite wheel and just go over them. That's why this is a pain to do, because normally I'll have the swing arm on the bike, but as you know, the swing arm's knackered, so I can't use that. Quite often I put the forks together and then just lift the whole lot on. Now I have undone, move this camera around here a bit. There are 2 bolts on the lower yoke. Those are stainless bolts. As you can see, I've got to get that fork leg in there, which is never easy, and they never like going in. Now the biggest problem is getting the bike high enough to get the fork leg in. See, they're loose, so they don't make any difference. Give it a wriggle. It's going in. And you can put a screwdriver in there. There's a gap. I'll show you that in a minute. But I prefer not to. It's wearing me out. Right. We'll try it again. There it goes. On fork leg. Now, as you can see, or maybe not, there is a gap there. You can put a screwdriver in there and open it up. I chose not to. Probably quite wrongly. Now we do have another fork leg. Take the nut off the top. There are large nuts on the top of it. Or bolts rather, as they should be called. They are bolts. A nut has nothing in the middle, a bolt has a thread. So, now let's just clean this one off quickly. That rag gets used for everything. Right. Now, same thing again, but now the problem is I don't want the other one to fall out. So maybe if I lean the bike and then the tripod's in the way. Hang on guys, I'm going to move you. Right, yeah, you can see there. Right. Now, bike, and try and do it that way. That's why them crash bars come in useful for leaning the bike. Move the grease out the way. 2 bolts, right. Big load of bottles falling over. Let's remove that. Alright. Now, see if this one will go in. Yep. There's that one in. Right. Now, when we've done that, they will sit at different heights for a minute. So the tops, as you can see, are at different heights. Now what we need is the top yoke. Now it's a bit dusty. I'm just going to give that a clean off. Might even go a coat of paint. Bear with me a minute. Or maybe a bit longer, but you won't notice that. Right guys, if I can get this camera in roughly the right place and zoom in a bit, which is why that is. Like that. I don't want this camera too close because I know what these pads are like, they throw bits off. Right, Whizzy pad on there, 1 yoke, lots of noise. And fresh metal. That's how fast those pads are. You can imagine, don't take long to do a frame. There is still a bit there that I missed. I shall quickly knock that bit off, but yeah, I haven't done the bottom because the bottom you're not going to see it for a start. Let's get that bit I missed. Bit that I missed is now gone, as you can see. So nice silver. Now I need to etch prime that, but I don't have any etch prime at the moment. So bear with me, I'll sort that out. Won't be long. Okay guys, I did paint the other side, strip the other side. Thought why not? If I'm going to do it, don't do a half-assed job. Use both cheeks. So I did. There you go. So I'm just going to prime that. declare that primed. Time to take it in the shed and hang it up and let it dry. Right guys, that's now, where is it, painted with grey etch primer. So let's give it a coat of black. So we're going to go out here, matte black, just cheap matte black paint, can't really see that very well, and get the camera right way around, otherwise I end up spraying my finger again. What do I think to that? I think that looks alright. Need some more paint. Oh, other than that, that's alright. Yep. Didn't like that edge on that one. And go around them again. Just try and make sure that that is all nice and black. Now I'm going to hang that up in the shed again. Running out of matte black paint. I bought more gloss black paint, but I didn't buy matte black. Right. And we'll wait for that, which is just sat there, to dry. Okay guys, now it's dry. So what I'm going to do now is, if you build one of these from scratch, you'll find you have rather large nuts. I should have thought about that before I said it. And the odd, where is it, large washer. So, you place that in there, take the large washer, and put that on, and you put the nut on. And come on, I know you go on there. Take you off of there. That's it. Bit of grit or something in the way. Right. And you screw that down. And then, once you've got that, now like so, I'm going to move this camera. Oh. Don't break the camera. Right. So that's the nut that you've just put on. Right, make sure it's down. Then you need these rather big bolts. They've got a rubber seal on. Let's just give that a wipe off. Try and clean off the thread a bit, like so. Don't know if you can see that. Yeah, they've got a rubber seal on. Those bolt into the top of these. So then you can turn that, lift up your fork leg, put that in there. These are rather tricky to do, he says, as that one goes straight in. And you do those up. You can turn the fork leg if you want to. Right. Then you take a big spanner, 28mm, just tighten it up slightly, not too much at the moment. Take the other bolt, give it a quick wipe. Same thing, that one goes in this side, so they can be a pain to do, to line up sort of thing. Is that one in there? Yeah, it is. Wow. Depending on how old your threads are, you might better just turn them by hand or probably could these, but it's easier to use a spanner. Right. Right. Now we have both those nuts on. As you can see, the forks are sat there. Doesn't matter that that fork bottom isn't the right way, because you can just turn that. Now, as I say, you do have these bolts here. On this one, there are 13mm. Now, you just want to find your spanner. They're only 13mm because I've changed them. Then you can just tweak those off a bit. You don't want to go too mad with them yet. There is a torque setting for them. But you just want to tweak those off a bit. And then you can tighten up these nuts. There shouldn't be a lot left there. Right. Yeah. Yeah, those are now solid. Right. I've just tightened up these bolts. Right. So forks are actually on. You can now actually lift the bike up, and the forks are there. They actually turn quite nicely. If you want to adjust them afterwards, you can actually get this spanner in here and adjust it, or do it from the front. Yeah, from the front's easier, but mine's quite nice. It's not too much playing there. Yep, that's good. Now, there are some other bits on the forks that you'll need. See if I can adjust this camera at all. Yep. Right. Now down the bottom of the forks, there is a cap, if I can find it. And anyway, goes on with wheel spindle. This one's a bit greasy. If I just give that a wipe, that's front wheel spindle. Now this end has a clamp that goes on it. Just going to see if I can find that. Right guys, this is the lower part. The wheel axle sits in there like that. Now, word of advice with doing these, because if you get them wrong, it can cost you your life if you're not careful. So be careful. On this there's an arrow. Don't know if you can make that out, but there's a little arrow on there. That arrow faces the front. Right? Now, when you fit this, you fit the arrow to the front. You need a washer, a locking washer, and a nut. Right, so as you put those together, like so, you put that clamp on the front, the arrow facing forward. I always just put that on there a little. Right, then you have the same thing again for the other side. Now for the back. Remember, this holds your front wheel on, so very, very important. Right, just put that on there slightly. Right, on the other end of this front wheel spindle, there's a little recess in the forks. I don't have a spare one to show you at the moment, but there's a washer that fits inside that recess on that end. So you're going to need that. Actually goes, if you're not careful, it will actually go all the way across. But you put your wheel spindle in. There's a reason I'm doing this at the moment. Which is exactly that, to line up the forks. Right, like that. Put the nut on the other side, or the washer rather, on the other side. Put the nut on. Now once your front wheel's on there, you can do this. And you put the nut on, and you get the nut to the right place. And then what you do is you tighten up the front one first. This is according to Honda. Right, do the front one first. And I'm doing this just to hold the forks in place, but we will get round to putting wheels on soon. You can't even see that, can you? And you do it that front one first. I'm just using a spanner. Then when the front one's tight and done to the correct specification, torque setting, whatever you want to call it, then you can tighten up the back one. And that's according to Honda. Not me, just Honda. You see that one there? That way I can do it up a bit by hand. So, because the last thing you want is your front wheel coming off. There is a torque setting for all these bolts, which we will be applying at a later point. Right, so that's the front forks on, and that's taken a while. We now have front forks on there, and the bar clamps need cleaning, but now, as you can see, we now have front forks completely on there. We've got the wheel spindle in place. This part of the wheel spindle acts as spacer for the front wheel. Can I turn these forks at all? You can just about make out down there the edge of that washer, if my lens cap isn't getting in the way. So the front forks are on. Now to get all the other bits onto the front forks, handlebar clamps, headlamp, which is set down there. Yeah. and other parts. So guys, we didn't get to do the swing arm, which is what I wanted to do. Might have to put it back on just to get the bike rolling. I'm searching for another one, but I want to pay this at 50 quid touch, not 80 or 90 quid. So I'm on a budget, can't afford really expensive parts. I have covered the bike in dust by grinding in here, which is a pain, but yeah. So anyway guys, fit the front forks, we fit a few other bits over the past week or so. I'm going to call it a day here, and I will catch you all in the next one. Please, if you like the video, please subscribe. It does help out. As I say, you will find out why. And yeah, take care guys. See you in the next one. Bye.